Alright, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to another Xenoverse 2 video, and today I'm going to be showcasing a character test between every Broly in the game. Those being Broly Legendary Super Saiyan, Broly Full Power Super Saiyan, Broly Restrained, and DBS Broly. Now DBS Broly and Restrained Broly were added from the Future Saga DLCs. I believe it was 2 and 3. And then Full Power Super Saiyan Broly was added with DLC 8 along Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, and then Broly Legendary Super Saiyan has been a thing since Xenoverse 1. He has been in the games in Xenoverse 1, so he's just in the base game of both of those games. Now, all of these versions of Broly have one preset. However, Broly Legendary Super Saiyan and Broly Full Power Super Saiyan have a custom variation, which I will not be showcasing, which I will only be showcasing the primary preset of all of those Brolys, and as well as Broly Legendary Super Saiyan also happens to have a festival preset, which I will only be showcasing any other move that's different from that first preset of Broly and the festival attack. Now, without further ado, let's get started with this character test, and let's move on. Alright y'all, moving on to this Broly character test. I did forget to mention at the beginning of the video that there is another version of Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, and that is a supervillain version. We're also going to be testing him out too after this one. And yeah, I just forgot. So, alright, so starting off with his All Light combo. That'll give you 4,565 damage total. Now, his heavy. Let's see if we can start up in like any stamina rate combos. Okay, that is a stamina rate combo. And let's try it with the heavy. That's also a stamina break combo. Let's see if they stamina break into heavy stamina breaks. That one's a little slow. You're probably not going to land that online, but if you do, then yeah, I guess you do. And then that's another one. And now let's try another combo. Let's try his grab. And what is the other combo that we have? Okay. Okay, the light heavy does 8,407 damage. Let's try the grab. 2,926 damage. Let's try Gigantic Omega. 2,925, and it does more damage if you're up close. 3,656, excuse me. That's the grand total. Let's try Blaster Shell. It also has two properties to it, like Gigantic Omega. Well, let's try them. I don't know if that'll change in damage, but like the second property is just you launching the Ki Blasts like at a faster pace. Let's try it. I'm gonna double check. Okay, launching the Ki Blast slower in Blaster Shell does more damage. Okay, now let's start off with Gigantic Slam as well. 4,022 damage. We got Full Power Charge. That's just a charge. Blaster Meteor. And Gigantic Meteor, the ultimate attack. 16,456. It's a good ultimate attack in terms of damage, but in terms of startup speed, I would not recommend you using this ultimate attack. Let's see his limit burst. Alright, super armor. That's definitely not going to change anything in terms of damage. That's just going to grant him super armor. And pretty much, basically, that's just not really going to do anything. It's just going to give you super armor. That's it. You're not really going to have anything like added to your like damage or anything along those lines. And his super soul, by the way, is my key is building overflowing. That grants you full key at the beginning of the match. And yeah, that seems about it for this Broly. I mean, he doesn't have another ultimate attack. He doesn't have an awakening skill. And now, without further ado, let's move on to the next Broly, that being Supervillain Broly. Let's move on.
Good. Anything else would be boring.
Alright, moving on to the festival version of Broly Legendary Super Saiyan. We're going to test out Gigantic Omega. 4387, that's the damage. And then full power engine wave, since there's the base form of Broly, the original of this Legendary Super Saiyan, didn't really have any other ultimate attack. Let's try this. 99,867 is insane. Okay, I think the combos do the same damage. Okay. Alright. So that seems about it. I mean, the only thing I was going to test out is the festival attack and full power energy wave. I don't think anything else does different damage. Okay, Blaster Meteor does 1092. Blaster Shell. Okay, not all of them hit. Let me see if I can hit them all. Well, alright. 4,935. Let's see if we can do these fast. 4935, the same thing. Maximum charge. Let's try. Okay, it's about the same damage. The only thing really worth testing from this is full power energy wave and Gigantic Omega. Everything else is the same. You're not really going to get anything different out of this Broly. And yeah, without further ado, let's move on to the next Broly. Alright, moving on to the next Broly, and as you can see, he has the supervillain attacks minus Gigantic Slam and as well as Gigantic Meteor and Blaster Meteor. And I don't think his combos will do different damage. He does have a lot more health. And let's try and see if his combos do a lot more damage. Okay, that's his heavy. Let's try his light. It does about the same damage. But his grab does a lot of damage, I'm not gonna lie. His grab does do a lot of damage. And then let's try. Okay, let's try his light heavy. That's what we did. It's 6887. Alright, moving on to the attacks. Rage Saucer. Rage Saucer does 4,343 damage. Let's try Bloody Sauce. 1958 with 2 of the blasts coming into attack. Let's try see if we can just land 1. Okay, 979. Let's see if we can land more than that, more than 2. Okay, the max is just 2. Gigantic Slam. 4,786. Blaster Meteor. It does a little bit more damage, like with the base form Broly, the original Broly, the Legendary Super Saiyan, it did like 731. And then for this one, Blaster Meteor in this Broly does 972. Alright, let's try Gigantic Meteor. However, it is slightly weaker. As you can see, it does 14,686 damage on Supervillain Broly. Meanwhile, on Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, the original, it does 16k, which I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's because of the Super Soul has something to do with it. And this Broly, the supervillain characters, none of them have a Super Soul, so they can't limit burst or anything like that. So I'm not sure why it does more damage on the other Broly. It probably does more damage on the other Broly because basically he has a Super Soul. This one doesn't because it's supervillain, and like the supervillain characters don't have a Super Soul, so they can't limit burst and they can't really activate anything from like additional like attributes or anything like that. But that seems about it for this Broly. Yeah, let's move on to the next Broly, that being Full Power Super Saiyan Broly from Dragon Ball Super Broly. Alright, moving on to Full Power Super Saiyan Broly. Let's start off with the light combo, all light. Damn, out here stomping on the motherfucker. Like, dang, that's just straight up bullying, bro. That's what I always liked about Broly. That's just straight up bullying. Charge, strong attack does 1471. All heavy does 4,963. Grab 2942. The first part does 1471. Let's try. Okay, heavy, light, heavy does 4,227. Now let's do light, heavy combo. Okay, 5,511. Alright, let's try gigantic charge. With no charge, it's gonna give you 3,683. With some charge, it's the same thing. Let's see if I can just prolong it for longer. 4,911. Let's see if there's more charge after that. 6,139, and not only that does it do that kind of damage, it also breaks stamina. Let's try Powered Shell. 2942. I think if you land it up close, it'll give you a damage increase. Okay, 2942 for Powered Shell. Let's try Gigantic Rage. $4,909 damage. Let's try Gigantic Meteor. $16,551. Let's try Gigantic Roar. 11,770, which I thought Gigantic Roar did more damage, because I mainly see Gigantic Roar like way more. You barely even see Gigantic Meteor. Evasive Instant Rise. Let's see his Limit Burst. Alright, health is stamina, auto recovery. You're not gonna get anything increase of damage. You're not really gonna get anything at all, like in terms of damage, because he doesn't have like an attack up Super Soul, so there's not really a point of retesting these. And yeah, that seems about it for this Broly. Without further ado, let's move on to the next Broly, that being Restrained Broly. And yeah.
What's wrong, Trunks? Are you scared? But, Broly, you've been alive this whole time?
What a shocker, dang. Whatever. Basically, moving on to Restrained Broly, let's try his grab. His grab does 2,193 damage. Let's try his all light combo. Stomp his ass. Stomp his ass. Stomp his ass. That's straight up bullying, bro. Like, dang. And let's try all heavy. Let's see if it connects with a stamina break. Okay. Wait for his stamina to get back. Oh, I did it wrong. Fuck. Oh, that into the break is just insane. It's just insane. Let's see. Okay, those are the stamina break combos for Broly. And let's try his other ones. Okay, so the light to heavy combo does 5,481. Now let's try heavy, light, heavy. Now that does 4,935. And let's try first skills. Let's try Eraser Bomb. Let's try Eraser Bomb again. I think it does an extra property. Oh, I think that's only when you transform. Gigantic Cluster. 4142. Let's see about far away. 4764. If all of the attacks land, it does 7,043 damage. Let's try Gigantic Charge. 4264 with some charge. No charge, it does 3,198, and fully charged breaks stamina and does 5,331 damage. Alright, let's move on to the other attacks. Oh, by the way, Rising Rage is his it's a character exclusive to him. And let's see if I can drain all my ki. Set my ki to normal. Rising Rage. Pretty cool, ain't it? Alright. Gigantic Meteor. $18,650. That's the highest damage that we gotten off a Gigantic Meteor from a different Broly. Alright. Now let's try Blaster Meteor. 1241. Limit Burst. Super Armor. Let's try Super Saiyan. See if we can. I'm gonna get Charlie like close up. Hold up. I'm gonna lock off the Trunks. Okay, that's a really good animation startup. Let's see. Try the attacks again because you can't do gigantic. Oh, never mind. I'm fucking stupid. Let me see if I can lock off the trunks. Yeah. That's a dope-ass charge. Alright, Eraser Bomb. God dang, that damage, yo! 6,713. Gigantic Cluster. Let me do my key all the way up to auto recovery. I think you can also detonate it. Let's see how much damage it does while doing that. 6713, the same thing. Alright, Gigantic Cluster. 5594 with some of it landing. Let's try with all of it. 9,229 is insane damage. Let's see how much that even takes out. Oh, that takes out almost a whole entire health bar. Wow. Gigantic Charge. No charge. 3,998. Some charge, 5,331. And with all of its charge, 6,663 damage. Let's try Blaster Meteor. We'll do the ultimates last. Let's try the combos again. Okay, 6,170 for the all heavy. Let's try all light. Like, just imagine playing somebody in ranked and then you break their stamina and you proceed to do nothing but stomping, and then, like, what if you actually, like, finish them like that? That's, like, a next level of disrespect, bro. Alright, let's try heavy, light, heavy. $6,124. Now let's try light to heavy. 6,788. Now, like I said, let's try the ultimate attacks last, because that's where the damage is gonna go crazy. Alright, Gigantic Meteor. And not only that, Gigantic Explosion is only available when you're transformed. So we can't test it untransformed, then transform to see how much the damage has been increased. But let me try Gigantic Meteor again, bro, because that's just... Because look at the damage on Gigantic Meteor. 25k, 25,176. Alright, let's try Gigantic Explosion. 27,975 with the initial attack doing like 2,000 damage, and then the damage goes up to like 8,000, and then it goes up to like, oh man, it just does, this attack is insane. Blaster Meteor. 1672, it does more than 1,000, dang, that's insane for an evasive. Alright, moving on to the next Broly and the last Broly, that being DBS Broly. Okay, I'm still not used to that Broly voice. Anyways, we're on the last Broly, that being Dragon Ball Super Broly. Grab. That's quite disrespectful if you ask me. 2,330, not bad. Light. And there he goes with the stomping, and he has the Ki Blast, okay. Alright, let's do heavy. $5,243. light to heavy. $4,270. Let's do heavy, light, heavy. Wait, did I even do it right? No, I did it wrong. That's 6,070 damage. Alright, gigantic charge, no charge. 3,497, some charge. 4,662, fully charged. 5,828. Gigantic cross. 3,730 damage. Gigantic rage. Saiyan blaster. 5,035. Gigantic Nova. 14,170. And let's try Super Saiyan. Let's lock off. Oh, you get damaged after that? Let's restart. $6,993 damage. Another interesting thing about Super Saiyan is that you can use it off a Saiyan blaster. Let's see how much damage that does. Okay, it only does 6,900 damage. Alright. Grab. $2,679. Heavy. 6,029. All light. Oh shit, I messed up. $6,423. Light to heavy. $4,910. Let's do heavy to light. $7,814. Gigantic charge, some charge. 4,021. Gigantic charge. Actually, that was no charge. Let's try some charge. I missed. 5,362 and fully charged. 6,702. Gigantic cross. 4,008. Gigantic rage. 5,359. Saiyan blaster. That's insane damage for an evasive. 5,402. Gigantic Nova. 15,232. And Gigantic Explosion. Now, this damage, I just know this damage is going to be insane. Alright, ready? I'll just get to the point of it. Dang. 20,047. It does less damage than Restrained Broly's Gigantic Explosion. Let's see, Limit Burst. Alright, Super Armor. That's about it for the Brolys. Let me know if I missed anything. Yeah, pretty much those 4 Broly's. I wasn't gonna test like Kefla or Kale, just Broly, just Broly. Wasn't gonna test Kefla or Kale. Um, and yeah, that's it for the skill test, and see you on the outro. Alright, it was really fun testing out those Brolys. Those being 4 Brolys in total. Let me know in the comments if you want another skill test or character test. If like, let me know. And basically, that was like really fun, just testing which Broly was stronger, which Broly had more damage, which Broly had like more attacks. And that's pretty much it for today's video. If you enjoyed, feel free to hit that like button, comment below, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and turn that notification bell on so you won't miss another video. And without further ado, as always, I will bring you guys another video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.